Subscribe to Feminism in India for your dose of intersectional feminist content, and make sure to hit the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
The year was 1942, years before India gained independence, when this story released. And this story set the literary stage in India ablaze. Hints of homosexual love between two women when this was unthinkable, Lihaaf is a controversial story that continues to be used as a muse for many films even today. But what do we know about the woman whose pen gave birth to this controversial piece of literature? In today's chronicling of Indian women in history, we take a look at the life and works of Ismat Chughtai, one of the four pillars of modern Urdu literature. Born in Badaun, Uttar Pradesh on 21st August 1915, a young Chughtai was highly inspired by her elder brother Mirza Azim Beg Chughtai, who was also a famous novelist. The ninth of 10 children, she grew up in a large Muslim household where religious liberalism was the order of the day. Her literary career commenced with the publishing of her short story titled Fasadi in 1938, which gained immediate attention from many contemporary writers. Chughtai joined the Progressive Writers Association in 1940. It was her interactions in the association meetings that motivated her to start using her creative abilities to advocate for women's rights. But Chughtai's works, which laid bare the gravest ills of the society, started garnering heavy criticism. Chughtai also enjoyed a close, warm friendship with Saadat Hasan Manto, another one of Urdu's finest writers. Manto too, through the medium of his many short stories, wrote on caste, gender and inequality in many spheres of Indian life. In fact, the two were arrested on the same day for the same reason, obscenity. For Chughtai, it was Lihaaf, and for Manto, it was his story, Boo. Chughtai soon moved to Bombay, where she married the Hindi film director Shahid Latif. She then started contributing a lot to Hindi cinema by writing screenplays, dialogues and songs for films. In her later life, she also worked closely with stars like Dev Anand, Kishore Kumar and Shyam Benegal. Her film Garam Hawa on the Partition of India, starring Balraj Sahni, also won her the National Award for Best Story. Ismat Chughtai's short story Lihaaf in 1942 about homosexuality released at a time when these stories were not spoken of, even in hushed tones. Chughtai faced severe backlash for the story, with many decreeing it as obscene. She was charged with obscenity by the erstwhile British government and fought for 4 long, tedious years before she was cleared of all charges. Chughtai's stories were a window into her fierce feminist ideals. Her novel Tedhi Lakir, which is regarded as her magnum opus, is a semi-autobiographical novel exploring tabooed themes of child sexuality, lesbianism and abortion. Opposed to the idea of partition, she incorporated this resistance within her story Jade, where the house's matriarch could not be persuaded to leave her Haveli to migrate to Pakistan. Through her story Gharwali, Chughtai also spoke of female sexuality and the normalization of sex work. Chughtai was awarded the Padma Shri in 1976, but was still often lambasted by critics, including some on the left, for what was seen as her preoccupation with sexuality. Chughtai was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in the late 1980s and passed away at her house in Mumbai on 24th October 1991 following a prolonged illness. The writer, who found herself amidst several controversies during her life, had to face one more controversy even after her death, as despite being a Muslim, Chughtai was, according to her last wishes, cremated instead of being buried. Chughtai's work fitted to no preconceived narrative. Her bold protagonist stood out from the ordinary, her outspoken approach jolted regressive minds, and her rebellious themes raised many eyebrows. She remains, till today, among the most iconic Urdu writers of all time.